on behalf of uh, on behalf of
I'll say
Decile Group
this, when
clients.
I each deal memo has a unique ID that is buried in its URL. And when I joined, we were in the 5,000s. Now we're in the 28,000s, or we just passed up the 30s.
Mm,
So lots.
yeah, yeah. So
Enough
for
that
anybody that here that's not aware, when you join Decile Partners or Start Fund, every single deal that you submit can go through a deal review with Connor and team to make sure that you're not missing any of the gotchas that could hurt you down the road. And so what we're doing, if you think about making a startup investment as a probabilistic bet, we're removing most of the downside that could potentially happen by missing something in the terms or missing something that could potentially worry your LPs. Connor is the man when it comes to that, and he's helped thousands of deals go through. So with that, I'll just turn it over to you, Connor.
All right. Thanks a lot, Travis. So yeah, as Travis mentioned, today's about AI on Decile Hub and AI for running a VC fund. So I'm gonna show you four AI features that are deals focused that are on Decile Hub right now that you can start using immediately. Three of them deal with how you get your deals into Hub. This is a huge challenge of adopting a CRM for anything, right? Even if you're just at a marketing company and you want a CRM of your sales leads, convincing everybody to put all the leads into the CRM, no matter what it is always a pain. And our goal in employing AI is to help you as easily as possible add your deals into AI, into Hub. So I'm going to show three different ways to do it, and I'm going to share my screen real quick. Is that okay with you, Travis?
Let's do it.
All right. So here I am in a deal flow pipeline. What we can see is that I've already added the first eight or so, and boy, it's been a pain for each one of these that I've added. I've gone up here to add prospect, and I've put in painstakingly, field by field, name, website, a short description. I've gone back to my email, and got the pitch deck URL. I've filled in the industries, etc., and I've put information in on the founder. So already filling in a form is not a great use of your time as a manager. So we've created a form for you to fill in if you need to, but some ways that we can help you out. The first one that I'm going to show you is here at the top, and it's called the AI Form Assistant. So you can paste any unstructured data about the organization directly into this field. So I'm going to type a quick entry about a space tech startup that I want to put in. And all I'm going to do is just type the first things that come to mind. I'm going to describe it. I'm going to put the who gave it to me, where are they based, what's the business model, who's the founder, and I'm going to click autofill the form fields. Now, what will happen is the AI will parse the text that we put in and assign it directly into the form fields. Done, right there. Just click and it's done after 2 or 3 seconds. So you can see that it got my referral, my short description, founder, traction. It's even given it industries, tags, business model, and the region. And I can go ahead and add that prospect, and it's right into my pipeline. Oh, except that I already demoed this yesterday, so we already have Persephone Shipworks in my pipeline, but you get the point. When we use that AI form filler, we can insert a ton of text. So what I want to show is how else you can use that AI form filler. You can open up an Excel document, maybe where you have your deal pipeline already set up. You can even open up a startup deck. So I'm going to open up the deck of a friend of mine that is this AI powered platform for organic social media amplification. And I'm going to just Control A on this. Oh no, I can't from Edge, can I? Oh, Edge, you're so bad. You know what they say about live demos. Okay, well, in any case, when you have that PDF open, you can Control A, Control C, Control V. Just select all the text, copy and paste it right into the field. And even if it's the text that goes through 25 slides, like paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of text, just whack it in the AI form assistant and it's going to divvy them up through the form fields. Same with an Excel row or paste the take text off of a website, anything you want. The AI form filler makes it a lot easier. So that's the first thing that I have to show. Second thing, I think even cooler, especially if you're a manager that gets a lot of deals by email. What I want to show is the email ingestion tool. So up here, all the way at the top, you see an option for pipeline ingestion email. So this system creates a dedicated email address, this big, long, ugly thing, that is assigned to this particular pipeline of my Decile Hub setup. I could go in and edit it to make it a prettier URL, but I'm just going to use this email right now. Now, anything that gets sent to that email is going to go straight into this pipeline. So fortunately from us, we have this very enterprising founder who's emailed me a startup. All I'm going to do is forward it directly to that email address that I've just copied and click send. Now, this is a nicely structured email, but of course your email might come with attachments. That's fine.
Mud products get a higher valuation these days than I'm used to.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is a San Francisco mud products startup, so you know,
The SF
uh,
markup.
they just came out of YC, so um, so okay, all I've done is I've forwarded the deal to my deal flow pipeline email. And one thing I want to show you is up here at the top with pipeline ingestion email, if I click edit, I can set some of the settings, such as this one, for example, allow ingestion from any email address. So you might be asking yourself, what if somebody gets a hold of this email and starts sending me a bunch of deals and starts flooding my pipeline with their startup over and over? Check this box if you want to allow it from any email, or if you'd prefer it to be just you and your team in Decile Hub, leave it unchecked. And you can obviously customize your email a little bit here. Let's go into the pipeline, and with a quick refresh, we can see that Canton Mud Products has been successfully put right into the CRM here. And they've completely, it's put Connor Satley in, and it's noted that it came from an email that was sent. So it's done a pretty good job of tossing in the details. It's even put in the short description and the email, the URL that I provided. So that's way number two.
That's cool.
Yeah. And by the way, yeah, this next thing I'm going to show works both for LPs and for deals. So I'm going to switch my browser to Chrome. A different founder has sent me this email: invest in my startup, Quartz AI. That's pretty cool. So he describes ARR and the
You
type of
must get a
valuation.
higher valuation. Oh yeah,
No,
must get
only
a
15
$6 million bump.
million. Yeah, he's not multi-planetary with his startup yet, so it's still a pretty low valuation. Uh, so what I want to show you is the Chrome add-on. Now, many of you might already have the Chrome add-on for Decile Hub, but if you don't, I'm just going to show you how it works for deals. And then later on, I'll show you how to set it up on your side. So I already have it installed. You can see it on my Chrome add-on here in the top right. I click on the extension, and what this extension will do is it'll read the page of information that I have sent. Now, I'm demoing this with an email, but it might be a LinkedIn message. It could be a startup's website. It might be a website that has a list of a couple deals. It might be a one pager that you've opened up. As long as it's in Chrome, the Chrome add-on will scan it and look for people and organizations. So in this case, I want to import Quartz AI, the organization. So I click import Quartz AI. It scans the page and it starts pulling out information. So right in my deals pipeline, it suggests adding Quartz AI. Here's the email. Here's the notes that it's going to pull, some website, and the pitch deck. Now, it's not perfect. It doesn't get everything off the page, and that's why these are all editable fields. So before I click go at the bottom, I'm going to notice, even though it had funding round information, yeah, this time, just because it's a live demo, it didn't get it. So here's how fast it is. Funding round, I can see it's a seed. It's with a safe. They're raising 3 million with a close date of 1 December. So there you have it. And then I import it. Now that'll send straight to my Hub account, and it'll be Quartz AI in my deal flow pipeline from the Chrome add-on. So those are three really fast ways to add deals into Hub that hopefully, as you're going about your day sourcing leads and talking to people in your network, one of these three tools, whether it's the AI form filler directly in your Hub environment, the email ingestion tool, or the Chrome add-on for literally any page on the internet, as long as it's in Chrome, one of those three should be able to get you to add a deal into your Decile Hub ecosystem in, I would say, 10 seconds or less. If you can just select a bunch of text, forward an email, or turn on the Quartz AI pipeline. If I go back to my pipeline real quick, there's already Quartz. It beat me there. So it's correctly put in the funding round. The deck is in there, and the funding round deadline, as well as all the traction notes. So yeah, three different ways of adding deals in.
Super cool.
I have one more to show, which is once a deal is in, about how to use the deal memo tool with the AI that we've implemented now a few months ago. Feels recent, but it wasn't that recent, where we can draft a deal memo for you. But just before I show you, just want to encourage you again, any questions you have about deals with AI or about AI in general, like Travis said, like share any questions you have about how AI can make your life as a VC easier or make you more successful in whatever you're trying to do, be it fundraising or deals or both. Put it into the Q&A here in Zoom, and we'll try and make sure to get to all your questions. All right, if I'm back to my deal flow pipeline here, I notice this crazy, tempting purple button called Enrich with AI. Now, the really nice thing about this tool is as a VC, you assemble a collection of information about a deal as you get to know it. You've got call notes, you've got a data room, you've got a deck, you've got maybe a diligence report, like some notes in a Word document, you've got a couple Excel sheets, you've got some PDFs. And then at some point, when you're ready to make that investment, you want sort of one central place where you put all the results of that work of getting to know the deal. You put your evaluation, you put your conviction, and we call this a deal memo. It's one document that sums up what is the deal, how do I evaluate it, and why is it worth investing in? Now, just to go on a side tangent for a second, there is such a thing called fiduciary responsibility, and you have it to your LPs to invest wisely and have a rationale for making a particular deal so that if anybody asks in the future, you can say, yes, this is why. And not as a cover your ass exercise, but as a showcase, as a way of showing off your evaluation process. I put this level of thought into my deals. Here's the downside. It takes a long time to write a deal memo. We had some folks on our call yesterday that were saying it used to take them a couple weeks to write a deal memo. And with some of these features, they've trimmed it down to a couple days. And that's only because they really obsess over it. But I'm going to show you how to do it, how to get a draft in just a few seconds. All right, so let's go with Canton Mud products here. We're going to enrich this with AI. And when I click Enrich with AI, what it's suggesting to do is to create a deal memo using AI tools. So it's already got the URL. If I just generate report here without adding any information, what it'll do is it'll scrape that URL and find whatever information it can from the startup's website. That's already sufficient to sort of fill in problem, solution, maybe traction, could find some current investors from their website, but it doesn't have the depth of the research that you have put in, right? In your diligence process. So I'm going to upload a document and I'm going to find my super secret startup database here. And here's a deck for Canton Mud products. So this deck does what any deck does. It covers the basic problem solution, competitors slide, right? It's one PDF of information. Now I might want to attach more here. And here's what I recommend. Attach a couple things. If the startup is giving you like a really deep dive PDF on their go-to-market strategy, or if you have some AI transcript from a really long diligence call that you had with them, or even better, if you have some team notes in a Word document or a PDF of your notes, toss it in there, including Excel sheets. Just toss whatever you can in there. Travis is cringing because now the AI costs are going up. No, that's not true. Toss what you can in there because the better the information that the AI tool has, the better draft you get. All I click is generate report and it starts working. Now, this will only take a few moments, but if I go in here and I go to Canton Mud products, here's what you'll see right away. You'll see a little AI analysis thing that's saying that it's working. So the AI is analyzing the company data, generating answers to due diligence questions. This says it's got 10 minutes, but I didn't give it a lot of content. I only gave it one deck, so probably it'll only take 3 or 4. We don't have 3 or 4, so I already made it with one for you with the exact same deck. Let's see how the AI did. It's filling in problem, solution, market, key terms, because that's the information that it has in the deck. It's filling in company's target geography and demographics. Now, here's something interesting. Competitors, it specifically didn't fill that in. Now, is this a bug? No, I specifically didn't include a competitor's slide in the deck because I didn't want it to fill it in. I wanted to show you this AI cannot and will not invent information about the startup. If it doesn't know, it's being told, leave it blank or say there is insufficient information to answer. So in this case, I may want to go through and add my own answer here. Continuing on down, it seems to have done a pretty good job with most of the questions. Now, what you'll notice is about halfway through the deal memo, I switched from this blue section to this white section. Everything in the blue that's for the AI to draft. Now, these are drafts. You probably want to go through and add your own evaluation and make sure that the AI is not necessarily your final voice. You want to go through and make sure you're happy with those answers. But why didn't it answer these ones? Because it shouldn't answer these ones. What is your conviction? We don't want to put this in the hands of an AI to try to tell you why you believe you should invest. We believe really firmly this is something that every manager needs to and must and should answer for themselves. Same thing about what are you betting is going to happen for this investment to succeed. This is your analysis, and humans are always best in this. So consider this as human in the loop if you want to. Consider it as us taking our hands off the responsibility of making an investment decision. But here's where you want to come in and type in your conviction, your bet. How does it fit your fund and your fund's economic value? How will it add value? Because if we have an AI filling this in, it's going to say, oh, we're going to, help them reach the moon in terms of valuation. You need to come in and be specific and customized for your fund. So very last thing to point out is this was our first version of this over here, which was the Write with AI. Over here on the right with AI. This is a question by question AI, right? So if I wanted to come in here and say for any one of these that I want to rewrite it with AI, I could of course use this Write with AI tool. The nice thing about this is that you can give it special directions if you want to, and it probably won't answer this question because it's about the Mansaris Oath. It will answer this. Yeah, look at that. Material state support for the Mansaris Oath. Oh, actually, I did have it put in that Canton Mud product supports the Mansaris Oath, so it does answer this question. And it's like, look
Perfect.
at this. Lower environmental impact, improved recyclability. Wow, we're making a better world. So yeah.
Very nice.
If I click rewrite, I can give it directions, I can give it extra information, I can give it extra documents, and it can take another step. So those are the Deals AI features that I'm happy to show you today, and happy to take any questions if there's ways that we can clarify any of that.
It's amazing, Connor. What kind of feedback are you getting from managers on these tools?
Two kinds. So the managers that don't understand the Deal Memo AI tool properly will tell us, hey, this is all AI. This sounds like an AI wrote it, or it's too wordy. And we go, well, yeah, it's supposed to be a draft, and it's going to be very difficult for that AI to speak in your language. Maybe that's something we can improve someday, Travis, and try and parse some text or
Sure,
voice
we do
over these
store that.
anyway.
Hmm.
But initially, look, the whole point of this is the 1.0 of deal memos, as it was done a year ago, is you have this half of your screen, which is a deck, and this half of your screen, which is a deal memo. And for the first maybe 12 questions of the deal memo, you're just porting information over back and forth between the deck and the memo. It's just facts about traction. Hopefully you validated these, about customers, about geographic location. Let us take that off your back. We want you to focus on the evaluation and conviction. The second bit of feedback we get from those who are using it the right way is, oh man, this saves so much time. Because having that draft in place that you can then go in and redraft, yeah, it saves hours, or we've heard it saves days and weeks, but your mileage may vary.
Well, we're hearing these things about our AI tools across the board. We are literally enabling people to do things with AI that they either couldn't have done before, or they couldn't have done in such a short period with such a high quality before. So once again, I'm gonna go through here in a moment. I'm gonna answer some of these questions that we're getting in the Q&A, and we'll use AI tools where necessary. So from here, guys, I'm not going to be quite as organized as Connor was. Connor, that was beautiful. It was really cool. Like, still, like my team helped to build these tools, and I'm still impressed when I see somebody run through and actually use them in ways that they were intended. It's a beautiful thing.
Got to be like
Um,
watching your child up on stage in the school play, and you're just so proud.
I am. I kind of am. There's a part of me that's proud, and there's a part of me that hopes my child doesn't trip and you know fall on his nose on the stage too. Okay, so let's kind of jump in here. I'm gonna cherry pick some of these that are more related to the AI tools, since that's what this is about. And then toward the end, guys, we'll start to answer some of the ones that aren't so much about AI tools. Uh, Caleb in the regular chat early on, I just happened to copy paste this into my area. It says, "How do you fundraise when you have lots of contacts but almost no bites?" Uh, One of the things that we've been working a lot on throughout the history of this company is helping people to raise money. If you can't raise money, you can't launch a fund. And so the answer to this question is not exactly uh, straightforward. Uh, Actually, it is straightforward. It's not exactly intuitive. You need hot deals. Just do what Connor is talking about right now. If you go out to 100 people and you say, "Hey, I'm raising a fund. Do you want to join?" Unless you have a track record of making really good investments, you're not going to get any bites on that. But if you go out to 100 people and you say, "Look at this deal that I found. This is amazing. Like, this is going to probably be worth so much money in 10 years. Wouldn't you like to participate in this?" Now, all of a sudden, you get interest because people can make a choice. It's not about investing in you as a money manager anymore. It's about investing in this amazing opportunity that you found and your pipeline of opportunities that are going to be like that. So you are supposed to sell the deals. That's exactly right. And so uh, the deal flow is super important when you're going out. If you don't already have a track record, it's super important for you to have a deal flow and at least one or two very hot deals, especially if you could show them a deal memo. Like if you show them your process, how structured that you are about your thinking and your process, and you can convince them that you have a deal flow that can't be accessed anywhere else. This is where people really start to get excited about you as a fund manager. So that's where we start. Let's go through some of these, Connor. All right. How close would you say your AI models evaluate deals versus the best associate can evaluate? What do you think, Connor? You've seen a lot of these deal associates and a lot of these deals.
You know what I've seen a lot of is deal associates and deal analysts doing a really great job at larger VC funds, really going into the weeds on startups, looking at the 5-year financial projections and looking at the market size reports and bringing in experts. And then they send a recommendation, and in the end, the VC's invest or don't invest based on their gut. Um, there are a lot of places that lead with associate and analyst reports on why they do and don't invest, but more often the larger, more established institutional VCs are still investing with gut, and they're still investing based on relationships. At smaller VCs, most of the folks that are starting, for example, start funds today, they just don't have the cash to bring in an associate or analyst. So it's not necessarily a question of, well, first of all, the deal memo tool that I just showed, it isn't analyzing the deal in a way of like, hey, score 1 through 10, our AI recommends 8. Yeah, you might want to consider investing. Like we're not in that game, at least not now. We don't have the data, and the people who tell you that they have the data to do that might be selling you snake oil. Like there is a way of doing this in a later stage, such as Series A, when you have a little bit more financial data, when you have some industry comps, if you're in a place with very high startup activity that has that data at the later stage, yeah, you can have an AI that'll give you a first scan of the deal. Our AIs will do this. They'll scan for thesis relevancy. So when you're getting a ton of deals in, you can quickly filter them yes or no based on thesis match, for example. Our AIs will help you create a draft of a deal memo. We will be debuting a AI tool in the next few weeks, which coaches you on deals. So you can upload a memo and it'll actually give you feedback on it and say, we don't actually find it as important to evaluate the deal. We're going to evaluate you as the manager. We're going to evaluate your evaluation because in the end, that's what you bring to LPs, right, Travis? You bring
Mm,
them the
that's
deal
right.
and you bring them you as a deal sourcing manager.
Yeah. Uh, I would even follow that on to say that what we're seeing across the board right now is that, at least for small funds, I don't know if this is also the case for big funds, but um, there's not a lot of venture associates that are being hired or doing work right now, uh, because AI is taking on a lot of what they would have done before. There's there's a couple of primary things that venture associates were used for in the past. One is finding deal flow. One is identifying potential LPs that might invest in your fund. And we have AI tools that are doing those things. And so to piggyback on what Connor said, small funds just don't have the money to hire a lot of these kind of people. But the good news is that we have AI tools that can help you be very good at it. Okay, how are VCs using AI for fundraising from LPs? Now, this is a question that is right up our alley. So I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to kind of show you a couple of things here that you can use as VCs to help with your fundraising. Now, fundraising is going to always start with your thesis. And so if you don't have a strong thesis, then you're not going to be a strong fundraiser. You need to be able to dial in your exact secret sauce that is going to attract LPs to invest in your fund versus some other fund. And so your secret sauce is where it all starts. And so when you're on Decile Hub, up at the top here, you can see the AI toolkits. And inside of the AI toolkits, there's a create a fund thesis for LPs. Now, this AI toolkit right here is going to, I'm just going to restart this. We always start from the last place that it was done, just so that if you want to continue the conversation. So we take all of the information that we have about you and your fund inside of our system, and we pass it into the AI, including any existing thesis that you might have. And we say, here's your thesis. What do you want to do? Do you want to create a new one? Do you want to massage the existing one? And then we say, here are some ratings that you can have. Here are some ways that you can improve this thesis. Here are some next steps that you can take. And based upon all of this, you can go through and you can create a really strong thesis. A thesis is basically just a way for you to quickly and easily and clearly communicate to an LP what you're going to be investing in, where your secret sauce is, why you're going to be good at it. So once you have that in place, now the next AI toolkits that you can do is to pitch confidants. So now we have a couple of different AI toolkits inside of here that will help you do fundraising. One of them is going to be, here's how you can find LPs that are outside of your network to potentially try to connect with. Another is, here's how to pitch somebody specific that you are already going to be having a meeting with. And so inside of this toolkit, we're going to say, all right, here's your thesis. Let's identify somebody that you're going to talk to. I'm going to say that I'm going to talk to Connor Satterley. He is a current colleague. I'm going to do a friendly because Connor's a nice guy, and I'm just going to submit that. Now, this is going to say, all right, based upon what we know about pitching colleagues in a friendly way, here's an email that you might want to consider sending. Here is how you might consider the conversation to go. Here are some questions that you might want to ask. And so this is just getting you prepared to reach out and then to have the initial conversation. From there, you can do a lot of different things inside of this toolkit. You can do a role play. You can, based upon these options that you chose up here, we're going to simulate a personality for somebody and just allow you to role play. You can even do it with this record voice message down here, which makes it be a lot more natural feeling. I find that when I'm speaking, different words come out than when I'm typing. So I would definitely recommend doing this role play with the record voice message enabled. You can also do a lot of different things here, as you can see. So this right here, it's not going to close for you, but it's going to open for you. And it's going to give you some confidence that you need to go in and to make a good pitch. So let's see here. We've got ways that you can post to social media. You can plan an event. Now, a lot of the people in our ecosystem, they have different kinds of events, and we have different kinds of events that you can easily run inside of Hub. This event AI right here is really cool because it's going to help you to set up a specific event for what you need. A lot of people will do events to invite potential LPs so that they can get to know them. Other people will do events so that they can close LPs that they already know. A lot of our managers actually just have recurring events, like once a month at a wine shop, to invite people in and just talk about all the cool deals that they're having. In fact, back to my previous point, the best managers, the best fundraisers that I've seen out there, they never pitch. They just talk about all these amazing founders that they're meeting and all these cool deals that they're finding. And they get so excited about it. They get so passionate about it that people want to just join them for the journey. They don't close. People ask them if they can join. And that to me is mind boggling. That's when you know that you're doing it right. So events, very important for expanding outside of your existing LPs or closing existing LPs that you know. So, all right. So those are some of the most common ways that people are using the AI toolkits in order to do fundraising. There's a whole bunch of other ones up here. Let's run through some of these other questions here and see if we can find something that that hasn't been talked about yet. All right, I'm going to save the HubSpot question for later. I'm going to save the non-directly AI related question for later. All right, notes in Notion. Now, this is a really interesting topic. There are a couple of different ways that you can connect different platforms into your hub. So let me share my screen one more time. Let's see, we just have a brand new UI over here. So let me make sure that I know where I'm going. Okay, so if you click on this API link over here, settings API, this is how you can install the Chrome extension. So over here, you're going to have to use this API token to get your extension enabled. But there's also on side of here, once you have this API token, you can hook up via Zapier if you want, or you can directly use our API if you have that technology. We also have an MCP server that's live here. And so if you have an account like Notion that's able to connect to MCP servers, just hook it up here. It's free to use. It should be very easy. You can put things directly into your pipelines. Now, to answer your question directly, you can't create a deal memo using the MCP server, but you can put prospects and deals into your pipelines. And from there, Connor showed you how easy it is to kick off the deal
Yeah,
memo
which is what
process.
matters more from a data migration perspective is get the deals into Hub. And if they're in there with the information that you've sent over from some other platform, it's a super easy situation to create a deal memo right from Hub.
Okay, cool. All right, let's see. Dorothy, you can contact us through Decile Base. If you sign up for an account there and just post into the Decile Hub support channel, then that is going to be the easiest way. If it's not me and Connor, somebody else from the company will answer you directly through there. That was not AI related. Should have saved it. Okay. Actually, Connor, this is a good one for you. Does the deal memo tool identify weaknesses in the businesses that seek funding?
So what it'll do is it'll be honest about what it finds and what it doesn't find. So we have a question about go-to-market, for example. That's not, the question is not describe the company's go-to-market. It's describe the go-to-market including channels, partnerships, licensing, unit economics per channel. Like it lists a lot of stuff. And it'll be honest about what it finds and doesn't find as it's going through the memo. What it will not do is evaluate the deal in the midst of your deal memo. That's not what it's designed to do. What it's designed to do is bring descriptive information that it has available in the deck or attached materials into your memo. And then ideally, it might spot a gap or two, but ideally it's up to you to add the evaluation of that information. Because yeah, we just don't ever want to get to a point where the memo is, or sorry, where the memo AI is doing your evaluation. You need to add your evaluation. That's your unique selling point to your LPs, right?
Cool. All right, let's see here. Jessica asks, if you upload documents to the deal memo tool, does it keep those attachments in the deal file section?
Yep.
It does. So one thing that not everybody knows, but one of the most popular parts of Hub is our files section. And so when you create a deal memo and you upload a file, we have an entire sort of DocSend meets deal room functionality inside of here. And inside of the deal memos, we save them directly into here. So we save them associated with organizations. And then when you export your deal memo, we save it into the deal memo export as well. This allows you to be able to share a deal memo externally with people that can come in and see the files that were attached to the deal memo. And you get to choose which files that you uploaded that you want to share with people outside of that. All right, let's see here.
I love the question about analysts and associates worrying that their jobs will become obsolete. Can I take that one? This is a
Please,
funny one.
I have an answer as well.
Okay, let's compare our
Hopefully we're
answers
on the same
afterwards.
page.
Yeah, I think that the old route of getting into venture is, get an apprenticeship or an associate role at a large VC fund, spend 10 to 15 years there learning from all the old guys. And yeah, I use gendered terms purposefully in this case. That was the old way. I think the new way is for anybody who wants to get into venture to just start a fund themselves. The barriers that were broken down by Start Fund that allows people to start a fund with a fraction of the capital necessary 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, it opens up the opportunity to invest for student groups, for local accelerators, for universities, for community groups. I mean, the idea is there that any group with a small amount of capital can make some bets in startups using a start fund. So what I would say is associates and analysts, the old career route, it's not like, oh, AI is killing it. I think AI creates the efficiencies that enable new routes that are way less exploitative, that are way more empowering, and that get people that want to get involved in venture on the track to investing themselves at 10 times the speed. That would be my answer. But oh yeah, the other side note is, as with any AI tool, the people who use that AI will replace people who don't use that AI. More than AI will replace the people. So that's step one,
Yeah,
anyways. Go on, Travis. How'd I
yeah,
do?
perfect, perfect. I'm just gonna append a couple of notes to your answer. So first off, if you are early on in your venture journey, consider joining the Venture Institute. This is a venture associate training program that we run a couple of times per year. And it's going to teach you the basics of what you need to know in order to contribute at a venture fund. I already said them earlier. You've got to have a deal flow that is yours and yours alone, that nobody else can replicate, that you can find hot deals that other people can't find, and that are willing to let you invest because you bring them some kind of a special value that other people don't. And the second one is that you need to be able to raise money. Now, raising money has two subcomponents to it. You have to identify potential LPs, and then you have to close LPs. And so the job, those are two different specialties within fundraising. The first one, the identifying LPs, is oftentimes a job for traditionally a venture associate. Now, if you can get good at that, then you can, and you have deals, you can do the last part, which is closing them. So Connor is absolutely correct. Once you have a good deal flow, once you can provide value into VCs, if you want to start your own venture capital fund, consider a start fund. The barrier to entry is very low. It's going to be difficult for you to find a job as a venture associate these days because AI is just doing such a great job there. But just launch your own fund. Start small, get a track record, and we see fund ones go from a few $100,000 in committed capital, or $1 million in committed capital. Fund two goes to 10 or $20 million. Fund three goes to 50 or $100 million. You just got to get the process started where you are today and commit to it. So that's, yeah, that's, I believe, the right answer for today's world. Connor, you see any other questions on here that you want to answer? Down to the last 15 here.
Yeah, I appreciate the question about turning off using your data in the decile training models. You want to talk a little bit about data privacy and AI training and what people should expect and not expect?
There, we use ChatGPT, Anthropic, Grok based upon the model that we need to use in any given situation. So if you're afraid of those companies using your data to train via the API, then I wouldn't use Decile Group's tools. It's just that simple. If like 99% of the other people out there, you don't care, then these tools are going to provide a lot of value for you. So that's basically what it comes down to. We don't do any internal training. We don't even allow our internal employees to access accounts that don't have the Decile Assistant enabled. So we are extremely privacy focused and forward around here. But when it comes to AI, we use the same models that everybody else does. All right, I see the AI looking for a link to a deck or a file. Where is the best place to store decks or other files or Dealflow to create that link? You can use the files section like we just saw a minute ago. So inside of Hub, if you navigate to files and you upload a file into there, you can create a publicly accessible link there. But most of the time, we're not linking the files. We're just manually uploading files. So better to just drag it right into the chat and let it have direct access to it.
Yeah, I can also show a method on that. If I share my screen real quick. You remember earlier when we were doing Kent and Mud products and I created a memo and I gave it the deck, right? If I'm back here in my deal flow pipeline, one way I can quickly check about files is just by clicking on the organization and going to files. Like I actually don't use the file navigator as much as many users on Hub would because I'm just all focused on deals all the time. So if that sounds like you and you want to access this stuff from your deal flow pipeline, that's fine. Here it is. It's already attached as the deck. Even though I attached it in another place on Hub, it still pops up here. So I could, as I'm putting this through, here's my brown coat salvage and recovery. As I'm putting this one through the stages of, maybe doing some diligence or screening it or talking to the founder, as I'm doing my analysis on that startup, I could, of course, be attaching information here. That'll go to that same file folder that Travis said, and then I don't even need to leave my deal flow pipeline. When it comes time to doing the memo, as soon as I click that generate button, it's going to use all of the attachments that are in that file folder. Am I right on that, Travis? It'll use any attachments, even previous ones. And you
That
can
is
also
correct.
upload new ones at that moment if you want to. But if everything's already in, then great. And it's all stored in one place, which took some work on your side, Travis, right?
Yeah, yeah, not just that, but also to vectorize all of the content that's in there, including images, and store all of that in the database and make it available to the AI. My team is pretty good. All right, how adaptable is the platform if we're running an accelerator with dozens of startups entering and exiting the pipeline every cohort? It is extremely adaptable for that. In fact, if you ever are interested, let me just share my screen here one more time. We give you the ability to create lots of new uh, funnels for yourself. And so you could create a deal funnel or a fundraising funnel or different kinds of custom funnels if you want, or you could copy existing funnels for every single cohort that you run. Startups could go into each individual pipeline, and then you could do all of this in a very organized way. Grace asks, regarding the live Excel for the cap table, when the link is attached, how do we ensure that it ends up as live Excel and not PDF? Grace, sorry, I'm not exactly following that one, but what I will do, since you mentioned it, is I will show you how to create a projection using VC for your fund. So this is one of the more difficult things that people face when they're getting their fund ready and they want to show like some fun projections to potential LPs. And we created an AI that makes it just really easy. And so it's going to go through and it's going to ask you what kind of investments that you think that you're going to make, how many different sizes. So you got to have a little bit of knowledge about the market that you're inside of. But if you are able to fill that stuff out, it's going to just say, all right, here's what your projections should look like. You're going to copy and paste this in. Grace, it's not in Excel or PDF. We're just giving you the data here that you can pop into your own slides. So this is actually really good we've compared this against a lot of best-in-class projections, and you're gonna see that this outputs a lot of the same kind of information, and you can play around with the different numbers so that you can get different results. I think it's very cool. Uh, Coming out with some more interesting stuff soon that I'm sure you'll see a future webinar on. But we're doing a lot of fun projection tools as well for our portfolio, so that's going to be really cool.
And just as it pertains to deals, Grace, if you upload a file, it stays as the file. We're not going to be converting any live Excel sheet to PDF or something like that. So if you upload an Excel to a deal, for example, as you're writing a deal memo about it, that just stays as an Excel. Think of it like a Dropbox meets docs and meets. Yeah.
All right. With the launch of AI tools and also Start Fund, do you think the success rate of those raising a fund will go up? I can't remember the numbers, but I think it was less than a 5% success rate of those that start to launch funds. The answer is absolutely, it will. I think it's yet to be determined, like what that percentage goes up to. But before, you needed $1 million at minimum, and you were losing money at that rate in order to make a first close on a traditional fund. With Start Funds, it's 150,000. And so we're opening up the door to new types of people that want to launch new types of funds in new areas of the world. And so the success rate is absolutely going to go up, but more so than that, the number of funds that are going to be launched worldwide will expand dramatically.
Yeah, that's
And
the really exciting part is like, what if the hypothesis on the success rate going up doesn't? Like, what if the success rate stays exactly what it is, but we can multiply the total audience of people who have it available to them to start a VC fund by 10 times? We've still multiplied the number of VC funds getting started by 10 times. So if you fix that audience issue, that the barriers prevent people from even getting started in the first place, that's already a seismic shift. And then if you can hit the success rate up a couple notches, that would be great.
yeah, that success rate is what I work on every single day. And I can see exactly the problems that are consistently that people are having. And those are the kind of problems that we can solve. It starts with having good deals. It starts with having a structured process. And we can make this a much more repeatable process for a much larger number of people. So I'm sure that the success rate will go up.
Let me jump in with a question for Vivek. Is there a tool to extract key info from the pitch decks? Yes, Vivek, it's the Deal Memo AI tool. So when you attach a pitch deck, as I was demoing earlier, the Deal Memo tool will be able to go through the entire deck and extract out the information that aligns to your questions.
All right. Sam asks, hi, I'm using HubSpot and paid my entire website is linked to it, etc. Would you guys still recommend me to switch? Also, Decel is not free for more functionality. So it's up to you, Sam, on whether you want to switch or not. Beautiful thing about Hub is that it's a vertically integrated stack of purpose built for venture capitalists functionality. All of these AI toolkits that you see here, they're all integrated with your pipelines. You have investors pipelines, deals pipelines. The files are linked directly inside of here. The packed commitment pages are linked directly inside of here. When you're ready for closing, all of the people that you have inside of here go directly into your closing process. The accounting section is set up to use the deals that you have inside of your system here. The AI manipulates all of this. HubSpot's a great CRM, but if you want to do venture capital related things, Hub is the place to go. Now, Decile is basically free for all of the functionality that we offer, except for the back office support. If you want accounting and taxes and Connor's deal review, those are things that you're going to have to pay for, but they're paid for through the management fees of the fund that you launch. So if there's anything that we've shown you today, it's all free. So make the switch if you want, but I recommend it if what you want to do is launch a venture capital firm. We've proven via our stats that our fund managers who use Decile Hub are far more successful in raising money than the ones that don't.
I think we might head towards wrapping up there, Travis. One thing I want to mention is the cohort 20. applications are open. So if you're sitting on this call and you're hearing, oh man, the gates have been broken wide open by AI tools and by Start Fund, and I'm hearing that even associates and analysts should think about starting their own Start Fund, and I have some interesting deals and interesting LPs, and I have an interesting startup niche that needs funding, now's the time. You know, the old model from a couple years ago was that you needed to work for 3 to 5 years on building that network first. Just start something. If you have some ideas, you have a passion, apply to Cohort 20. You can see the link that just put into chat, and we'd love to have you be part of VC Lab, be part of the whole Decile ecosystem here. So just want to encourage folks to go do it.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining. It's an absolute joy to show off what we work on all day long, and we're here for you. Our success is only with your success. So everything that we do here is for you guys. If you want to launch a fund, try to get into Cohort 20, try to get into a Start Fund, try to get into Venture Institute if you're a little bit earlier in your journey. And we wish you the most success.
Thanks, everybody.